ho neighborinos. It's time for yet another exhilarating edition of Cyber Force Civilians 101 with your ruggedly handsome cybersecurity pal. Today, I've got two topics to talk about briefly with you. First, as I mentioned before, one of the big reasons I'm doing this is because there's a real need for it, and I don't see a lot of other people doing it. I'm talking about a cybersecurity professional talking to non-techies with an ongoing series about topics they need to know about and explaining what they need to do in order to keep the bad guys off of their computer and out of their stuff. And this is so important, explaining it in a way that is as non-technical as possible, so they don't feel the need to become a techie in order to do so. I don't believe that you should have to become an expert in IT or computers in order to keep yourself relatively safe in this very unsafe world. So, when I find anyone doing anything remotely resembling what I'm doing, I'm going to advertise and promote it because I want more people doing what I'm doing. And with that, I introduce to you Mike Myers. No, not the comedian actor who does Shrek and Austin Powers. No, the Mike Myers I've heard of in the tech world is famous for his courses on IT certifications. When I was studying for my degree in cybersecurity, lots of my fellow students raved about his videos, which helped them pass. And lo and behold, I found out that he has a series called, what was it? Security 101? What? You totally ripped off the name of my series! Curse you, Mike Myers! Curse you! You just made an arch nemesis, and you're going to regret it. Revenge shall be mine. Yes, it shall be mine. I'm totally kidding, of course. I've watched some of his videos, and although some of them are a little bit more technical than I would make them, all of the ones I've seen are totally solid. And to the degree that they keep anyone, not to mention civilians, more secure, I totally applaud him. Of course, his last video in the series was in 2013, but the information I've seen seems to still be up to date. Anyway, as always, links in the notes below if you want to check them out. The other topic is a lot more serious. One of the other reasons I'm doing this is because I want to help keep secure the most vulnerable out there. I started this whole series as live presentations to seniors because they tend to be most at risk from the dangers out there. However, as I've mentioned before, there is one other group out there which is just as vulnerable, children. Maybe even more so because seniors aren't nearly as plugged into the digital world as children are. Find me any child over the age of 6 who's not already plugged into some degree, and I'll show you a child who's likely to be raised Amish. They're raised in this stuff like a fish is raised in water. They don't know any different world. And because they're children, they need protection in the digital world just like in the real world. Because in both worlds, there are lots of bad guys. So, I've been going through a series of blog posts put out by McAfee, because they can be a great source of video ideas for this series. And I've been noticing that quite a few of these blog postings are targeted towards parents of kids who are kindergartners all the way up to teenagers. I've skimmed a whole bunch of them, and they are great for parents. They have all sorts of topics on all sorts of things you need to be concerned about. You can just go to McAfee.com/blogs, then do a search for parents. I just picked out 3 really good ones to get you started. Again, this isn't my chosen emphasis, and if I see any more resources like this, I'll be sure to let you know. Oh wait, I do have something else. I recently found out about 2 great websites for parents to know about. SafeSearchKids.com and KidsSearch.com. As always, links in the notes below. If you know anything about the internet, then of course you ought to know that the dead last thing you need to let your kid do is just start Googling stuff online. With these sites, you can direct your child to do searches for whatever they're trying to look up. And if you use these web pages to do so, they will only pull up kid-friendly hits on those searches. Along with this, both sites have lots of great resources for keeping your kids safe and plenty of fun, kid-friendly activities for them to do. This all comes down to the fact that if you're a parent of a child who's old enough to point and click on a computer, you have to be aware that there are bad guys out there who want to take advantage of them. You can't let them just be loose on the internet any more than you would allow them to walk home alone in a crime-ridden neighborhood at 3 o'clock in the morning. So, anyway, on a much cheerier note, if you want to be notified when I post a new video, then be sure to click the subscribe and the bell button below. As always, thanks so much for watching, and God bless.